Even through this, what we call crypto winter, the brands are still interested in this because they're thinking, okay, what this allows me to do, in addition to turning it to a tangible on the balance sheet, it allows me to have customer loyalty in a way that the alignment of incentives makes it a very powerful network effect, because your customers, by owning digital assets from your ecosystem, will appreciate in time, or they can accumulate more of them by being good community members, are now passionate behind your brands, much like kids trade Nike sneakers. So they're thinking, okay, this is going to make people more loyal, and we'll have a direct relationship with our community or buyers by doing this, and therefore we can collapse the costs of using middlemen like Google and Facebook, etc., at the middle too. So it's very powerful.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have Raoul Pal sharing his predictions for Bitcoin and the crypto market before the next cycle coming up in June. According to his in-depth analysis of past market trends, Raoul Pal is convinced that the global recession has already been factored into the market. Drawing parallels with Bitcoin's trajectory in 2013, he predicts a potentially larger surge, followed by a correction, or alternatively, a more prolonged downturn akin to Bitcoin's performance in 2018. Pal points out that even the Powell pivot of 2018, which initially sparked a cryptocurrency rally, eventually led to a market correction as the Fed began to implement rate cuts. He identifies a twofold possibility for the market, one where a sudden rally could force everyone to go long, and another where the market stabilizes, treading water for up to a year. Despite these various scenarios, Pal maintains that his strategy is not to trade, but rather to accumulate and hold, acknowledging that the current market has left most hedge funds wary of investing. Let's get right to the latest interview with Raoul Pal as he discusses what's next for the crypto market and what we can expect in the next 30 days. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content we do here.
To understand this, I've been involved in this market since 2013 when I first saw Bitcoin. I wrote the first ever macroeconomic strategy paper and valuation for Bitcoin. So I've been all over this space. And the one thing when I wrote that first article is you need a 10-year time horizon. Everything else is done. And if you are worried about these cycles, you are trading it wrong. You're trading and not investing in the adoption of a network. So how does crypto work? Crypto is driven by two things. It's really simple. Network adoption, which is Metcalfe's law. So that's the number of active users plus basically the number of connections or applications for those users. That is what drives the long-term trend. The log trend of Bitcoin over time is the best performing asset of all recorded history, and it remains so in every single up business cycle. There is no asset that's ever performed as well. But it is cyclical, driven by the money supply and the liquidity cycle.
And the emotions.
And that's what brings it down 70 or 80%. So everyone goes, what? It comes down 70, 80%. You've got to remember that if I'm just looking at the Bitcoin chart now, the low in 2015 was $200. Then it went all the way up to $20,000. And then it corrected down to $2,800. All the lows are massively higher and the highs are massively higher. So if you just step back and say, oh, I bought crypto and it fell, hold it. Your time horizon cannot be 3 years. Your time horizon needs to be long enough for the network adoption model to work. And the best way of doing that is just using a log chart and looking at it within that. And it's a very smooth uptrend. And then what you do is you learn to use the down cycle, the liquidity cycle, to add to your investment over time, much like you would have done with Amazon, or you would have done with Google, or you would have done with Microsoft. They're very similar models. Don't forget, Amazon back in 2001, too, fell 96%.
Oh, I have articles.
I don't think Bitcoin will be a payment system except using the Lightning layer for moving dollars around. So it's fine for that. It's fine if you're PayPal and you're in the monetary system because you give people a different product to use. But nobody wants to be the Bitcoin pizza guy and buy, a couple of books on Amazon for Bitcoin and then realize because the Bitcoin goes up too much over time.
Too volatile. So
it's too volatile to do that with. So I know it seems fancy. There is a Bitcoin and ETH economy, and you can get a share of that economy, and that economy can do very well. So, we take payments in ETH or Bitcoin or whatever at RealVision. That's fine. Some people want to do that because they've accumulated a lot of capital in those particular assets. But generally speaking, it's a bit of a red herring, I think, for that. Ethereum itself is becoming the payment system of the internet. It's very interesting because it is a base currency of which we quote things like NFTs in ETH itself. I've never seen that in my life. So my big thesis on crypto is I've started two companies. One is Exponential Age Asset Management. That's for investors to invest in digital asset hedge funds and other vehicles to get exposure to the space. So the financialization of the crypto markets, whether it's family offices, high net worth investors, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, all of that. Science Magic Studios was the other side of that equation, which is I look at a lot of Web3 and it's being built from the grounds up, and they're all experiments. Some will fail, some will work. Great. But when I look at what Web3 does, it enables a bunch of really, really big intangibles on a balance sheet. Culture, brand, community, to become tangibles via tokenization. So I always use the example of Disney. Disney probably has the largest cultural brand on earth now. You know, it might have been Coca-Cola in the 60s, but it's not now. It's Disney. What is Disney's brand, community, and culture worth? $1 trillion? $2 trillion? It's worth a lot more than the company is. Now, it's not realizable, but when you tokenize it, it creates that. Science Magic Studios' mission is to tokenize culture, these large cultural communities. Music, right? Music's one of the biggest cultural phenomena of human activity. Sports, gigantic. Fashion, gigantic. And then on top of that, entertainment, whether it's film franchises, book, TV, all of these things have cultural currency that can be tokenized. Right. So the idea of that, we built an amazing team with some incredible advisors to go and talk the talk that needs to happen at boardrooms, not by a bunch of, crypto heads with hoodies, but serious people to go in there and explain how we can unlock massive trapped value for these massive communities and drive forward this whole space.
With stablecoins now accounting for a significant 18% of the entire market, Raoul Pal observes that the current sentiment is largely bearish, with investors cautiously watching to see what the next few weeks will bring. Drawing comparisons to Bitcoin's behavior in 2013 and 2018, he predicts a significant market correction after the Fed implements rate cuts. Given the current level of uncertainty, Pal acknowledges that the fear of missing out can be overwhelming, but he also emphasizes the importance of patience and not selling too early, a lesson he learned from past experiences. While 2020 proved to be a year of resetting, he points out that 2021 was marked by choppy and volatile phases, setting the stage for what lies ahead. Despite the possibility of an unexpected and rapid market surge, which may garner short-term attention and excitement similar to the current state of equities, Pal warns that long-term data indicates such an outcome would create problems for all investors. While he remains uncertain about the market's trajectory, Pal continues to accumulate assets and closely monitor developments in the next 30 days. What do you think about Raoul Pal's prediction for Bitcoin, the crypto market, and where we're headed in 2023? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is the Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.